Dear students, the topic for today's discussion is barriers to communication. So, we shall be discussing in detail the different barriers to communication and also the ways to overcome it. Let us now study the different types of barriers that affect the effectiveness of communication in an organization. Okay, as George Bernard Shaw says, the greatest problem in communication is the illusion that it has been accomplished. That means the greatest problem with us human individuals is that we presume that the communication which we have done is 100% success, and it is totally passed on to the receiver, and the receiver has understood the message, but it may be wrong. So it is very important to see that we communicate in a proper way so that the message is understood by the receiver and he is able to give the proper feedback accordingly. Okay, now let us come to some of the important barriers to communication. So what are they? Physical barriers, personal, psychological, emotional status of the person, linguistic problems, semantic problems, premature evaluation of the messages, inattentive listening, poor transmission of messages, poor retention, and physical discomfort, etc. Okay, so these are some of the common barriers we see in our communication, and we will be discussing in detail about this. We can categorize the different types of barriers into two types: verbal barriers and non-verbal barriers. Okay, now what are verbal barriers? That means it's related to speaking orally. Most people consider themselves to be very good and effective communicators as they feel they can speak fluently. This is very common. We see in many people that they have the attitude that they can speak very well wherever they instantly. Okay, they need not have any preparation, but that is not true. If they think they have a good command over any language, they can speak or present anywhere. So this is a wrong attitude which should be overcome. Now, what are some of the reasons which create verbal hindrances in the communication environment? So now let's take one by one. First one, lack of proper planning. Now very often we see that people start talking or writing without thinking or planning. This is wrong. Okay, to communicate effectively, the proper planning is very vital. Now, as a result of poor planning, miscommunications or partial breakdowns in communication occurs. Now we see the next, selection of a wrong variety of language. Now for various human interactions, we choose different varieties of expressions. For example, while communicating with children, we use different expressions. While communicating with old age groups, different expressions are needed, and others, for different people, we have to express differently. This is very important. Now, what happens if a wrong variety of language is chosen? That will fail to elicit the desired results, or that fails to give the desired results. So as a result, communication becomes a total failure. Now next, badly encoded or wrongly decoded message. This is also very important. So we should be very careful to express ourselves properly and avoid any choice of wrong words, absence of punctuation marks, poor organization of ideas, use of jargons, etc. So all these things should be avoided. Now the next, difference in perception of a message. So what does this mean? A message is perceived or taken in a different manner by different people. Okay, so if a message is commonly passed to everyone, each person takes it or perceives it in his own manner. Okay, now different people perceive a single message in different ways. To overcome this problem, one needs to communicate from various perspectives, try to verify the matter from different point of view, and then come to a conclusion. So we need to have a conclusion, and for that we need to take the opinion of everyone. Let us now see the meaning of semantic gap. Now, difficulties in communication arise when the sender and the receiver of the message use words or symbols in different ways. Now, the point to remember is that semantic gap or distortion might be deliberate or accidental. For example, an advertisement saying we sell for less raises the question less than what? Okay, that means the queries are, is the product sold to less number of people or offered at a less price? So it has hidden meanings in such advertisements. Okay, now the meaning intended by the sender may be quite different from the meaning followed by the receiver. So as we saw in the example, the use of different languages, different interpretations of different words and symbols, poor vocabulary, and poor grammatical knowledge are some of the semantic barriers. And moreover, like certain words are used different, have a different meaning in different countries. Okay, for example, we say hello to wish someone, it may have a different meaning in some other countries. So such things lead to semantic gap in communication. Okay, now let's go on to the variations in language. Sometimes certain words and idiomatic expressions are culture specific. That means they are related to a specific culture. Okay, if you do not use them appropriately, then what happens? In their respective culture context, it might lead to miscommunication. Okay. Okay, now let's see the next category, that is non-verbal barriers. Okay, now what all things come under that? First one, listening barriers. Now we know that poor listening always results in incomplete, incorrect and inconsistent responses. Why? Because sometimes people do not listen properly to others. They are impatiently waiting for their turn to come to speak something. Okay, so it results in inconsistent responses. Now, we all aspire to be speakers, but many are not good listeners. Now, when people interrupt the speakers or avoid eye contacts, this also causes barriers to effective listening, because listening always requires concentration, patience and focus. Okay. Next, physical and mechanical barriers. Such things are like closed office doors, physical distance between the communicators, poor ventilation, disturbance in transmission channels, etc. are some of the physical barriers. Now, at times, poor printing of the words, badly indented text, very small font sizes or margins, lack of space, and crowded paragraphs also lead to barriers. Sometimes we just want to all crowd all the words together, so that in that case the readers are not able to read properly and naturally miscommunication takes place. Okay. Next is the psychological barriers. It is closely linked to the emotional status of the people. Okay, now it may arise due to fear, distrust, absent-mindedness, multiple distractions, lack of interest, etc. For example, when a teacher comes to the class, she has to be very pleasant. Now if she had some fight with her husband or have some family problems, that is going to affect her emotional behavior, and that is obvious when she takes the class. Okay, so this is a very this always hampers good communication. So we should always take care of our emotional. Okay, now we know the different types of behaviors in our day-to-day communication. Now let us see the different ways to overcome our communication barriers. Okay, so the first one, communicate according to the need of the receiver and use simple and meaningful language. Okay, so communicate only what is required by you. Okay, don't give extra details or extra description, etc. And the words you use should be very simple in meaning, and it should clarify the meaning, the message properly. Okay. Next is plan and clarify your ideas and consult others before communication. So for everything we know we need a proper planning, and clarify your ideas, what you have to communicate. And if you consult others before communication, that will be perfect, because you need to get suggestions from others too. Next, the message should be delivered at the proper time, because lately delivered message has no value. It is not appropriate. Next, be aware of the cultural differences and create mutual trust among ourselves, between the sender and the receiver. Okay? Be aware of the contents and the language. So you should practice before communication. You should know what you are speaking about, the different contents in your message and the language used. Avoid excessive use of slangs and jargons. This is very, very important. As I always tell you, we should never use slangs or abusive language or jargons, which often leads to miscommunication. Next, the selection of proper channel of communication is very important. So before communication, we need to understand through which medium we are going to send it, and that should be very appropriate. So we should have a check over it. Now next, ensuring proper seating arrangements and ventilation. So these are the physical barriers which we can overcome. So ensure proper seating arrangements, proper ventilation in the hall where we are going to conduct the seminars or presentations, etc. So there should not be squeaky voice of the doors. So all this should be avoided. Be impartial and unbiased. That is the very good trait of a good communicator. We should never be biased with our audience. Okay, we should be always be impartial. Then only we can communicate effectively. Now the last but not the least, use of proper body language. So as we discussed earlier too, your body language should be in touch with what you are conveying verbally. Okay, so whatever you are telling verbally, it should match with the body language also. This is very important. Then only the receivers or the audience will be able to understand and give the feedback accordingly. Okay, thank you students. Now we will stop here.